Well, you've probably heard a bit today about public servants being ordered back to the office if the coalition wins the election. Federal public servants would be required to work from the office 5 days a week under a coalition government. It's come from Senator Hume. She says that it's not totally getting rid of work from home, though. If you apply for it and it can be beneficial to the workplace, then, there are cases where it's okay. This is what Senator Hume had to say on ABC Radio Perth this morning.
Well, there's plenty of studies out there that demonstrate that working from home actually decreases productivity rather than increases productivity. Now, that is not uniform. There is always going to be a place for this. But the problem is the current government have embedded a right into enterprise agreements for individuals to demand the right to work from home. Now, that cannot work for everybody. And in fact, department secretaries through the Secretaries Board and the Australian Public Service Commissioner, just as recently as 2023, developed a very common sense approach to this that said working from home arrangements should exist, but they should exist being through negotiations with individuals, with departments, with teams to make sure that we're getting the best out of our public service.
You'll hear from the union in just a moment, but what does the research actually say about productivity while working at home? If this is something that's going to affect you, get in touch. 0467 922 666. Gosh, there are a lot of text messages. I won't be able to get to all of them, so producers will have to try and prioritise this. But if you do want to get through, 1300 681 666 is the number to call. So, the research. James Brooks is an economist at the Committee of Economic Development of Australia, who's done some research into this. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Brooks. What does the research say about working from home and productivity?
Good afternoon, James. Lovely to be with you this afternoon. So, look, the research really says that hybrid workers are just as productive as their in-office colleagues. And this mainly comes from a Professor Nicholas Bloom at Stanford University, who has run multiple randomised control trials and found no real difference in productivity.
How reliable is the research?
Look, a randomised control trial is the gold standard. In terms of research reliability, a lot of self-reported reports of productivity increases, and of course there are other studies which find different findings, like Senator Hume is referencing. But some of the important findings are that hybrid workers have higher job satisfaction, and in Australia we know that workers say they value hybrid work as being equivalent to about an 8% pay rise. So it's quite a meaningful benefit for workers. With highly administrative tasks, there's a lot of evidence that people are more productive from home, but of course, not all jobs are purely administrative. For collaboration and innovation, it's really crucial that these things are done in person. So it's really up to individual teams and their circumstances as to what works best or is more productive for them.
So what's your response to the Senator's claims overnight then?
Yeah, look, it's important to say that working from home isn't a case of one size fits all or set and forget. Arrangements between employers and employees do need to be reassessed over time based on that individual team need and work requirement. But there's a lot of benefits that we shouldn't miss. Some people may not be aware how impactful working from home has been in accessing more workers who previously faced barriers to on-site work. We've found that workers who working from home has allowed women with young children, people who live with disability or health conditions, and carers to access more work than they previously could. So, this is about letting more people have jobs or having people work more hours than they could before. And this is really a good thing for our economy, which we shouldn't lose sight of.
What does the research say about working together as a team and being able to work collaboratively with people if people are working from home?
Yeah, so this is where it's really important that teams coordinate. Some of the more interesting research has found that sort of hybrid on-screen and in-person meetings can really suffer from collaboration. But then inversely, in activities where there's selection and priority involved, on-screen meetings are actually really beneficial. There's less distraction. People just get to it. So it's really for that collaborative and innovative work, people really should be in person all together and really feeling that human connection.
James, Brooks, really appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you, James, and thank you for highlighting the work of the Bogong Moth Tracker earlier. This is a big Bogong Moth household, so appreciate that.
Very glad to hear it. James Brooks there, who's the at the Committee of Economic Development in Australia, The Economist for there. And look, if you did want more information on tracking the Bogong moths, you can head to bogong.org. Glad that James has been listening all afternoon. You're on 666 ABC Radio